get into the next game.
Ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Is this crowd ready, folks? Make some noise.
Here we go. Players dropping on the battle bus. A south, an almost top, a bottom to top trajectory for the bus. Players jumping out very early. You see already floating over the water, trying to get as low as possible. We've got people spreading across to Paradise Palms. Less than I expected in that southwest corner to the northeast of Flush Factory. Maybe only 3 or 4 dropping down there. So it's going to be a slow, methodical start for those players. But in the bottom right there, you see Tifu pushing across. He's going to drop into the gas station in hopes to establish himself a little buffer of loot. These southeast corners, typically you come out with quite a few materials if you're unchallenged. The trees and the rocks are key, plus the metal here. He's going after every single piece that he can. Metal for these competitive players is extremely important because early established fights, they have a lot of HP, 110. The second you place him down, Nick Merckx here in Tilted Towers. We've watched him here every time. I guarantee you he's going to drop here. As I said, his opponents that go tilted, they already know they're at least going to have to face him. And if they're watching the leaderboards from previous games, they know they're in for a fight against Nick.
And there are many players in Big Gray right now. Nick knows this. He'll go ahead and upgrade his assault rifle.
Oh,
beautiful pickup there. That's like like the best thing you could ask for right now. The rare drum gun. I don't think there's a weapon I'd want to find. More than that.
I almost wanted Shield to come out of that thing and put him in just an even better spot. He is very low on materials though, which means if he's going to fight somebody, Courage, he's going to engage. He's not going to be slow about it. He has to push. I almost expect him to take a shot with the blue drum. You saw the opponent drop down on top of the platform that he plays. He's going to push over here. This middle building, the construction building, has a lot of platforms. These pallets which come out. See, a lot of wood. He's completely ignoring him. He's pushing past. He's looking for.
Wait, look at how many people landed tilted.
Oh my gosh! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in tilted. That southwest corner, like I said, pretty empty. A good spread of players across the entire map.
See, Nick runs away from that fight in Big Gray because he's just hoping for shields anywhere right now, and still has yet to find any. When you don't have shields, it almost feels like you're naked when you're playing. You don't feel comfortable in any scenario. Fights. See, like look at this right now.
Chucking the nade. He's pushing him out to the left or up the stairs. Just trying to hope for a bait on his opponent. It sounds like he might have been engaged by somebody else. The nade may be revealing a position.
It's launch padded. Player just launch padded on out. And Nick's more than happy just chilling here. Again, since he doesn't have shields, he's not really in the mood to fight in any aggressive manner.
C9 blind, getting shot, I believe, from 2 different locations. As he was readying himself to drop in. Drops a stink bomb basically away. He's zoning out his opponent in an attempt to back out of the engagement. He already got hit from 2 different locations. I mean, a ton of players know exactly where he is. Now is not the time for him to engage. He doesn't even have healing. He's got the campfire, but he's got to build to put that down, which means it's not something he just use on the fly and hide behind. It's going to show up to opponents that see the structure being built. They'll look for the color of the wood platforms, and they'll find him.
Here's Astonish.
Hit the shot. There it is. Joshua going down a Lazy Lynx, and Astonish got to feel good about that one. Set to destroy a team that has been around for quite a while. A number of players here. JP2 from LG yet again. We had our eyes on him last match. He's, as we've seen, knocking out a ton of the furniture, trying to get every single bit of material that he can for building. Just defensive building is one of the biggest things. Knowing just when to put any layer between you and your opponent can stop a single shot, and that can mean the difference between making it out alive or even getting an elimination and getting eliminated yourself. Caillou in the last round took out Chap, one of the players we've been keeping our eyes on, and even trying to get the spotlight on him himself. Definitely deserved because he's been putting on a good show every game so far.
Farming up some materials, 547 wood already. Back over Nick Merckx, who's found a slurp juice, it appears.
The 75 shield.
He's at 570 plus.
A lot
wood
of wood. That building Courage. All those pallets, man. Yep. Yeah, you have so much material you're literally standing on top of. And that much wood, that's enough to push anybody aggressively, which is exactly what Nick might try and do here. Using the building already, that's established, but he's going to get up on top of his opponent. His opponent goes for the edit and misses it and pays the price. Nick Merckx getting himself his first elimination on an Airco, who he only got the corner of that platform edited out. Was trying to drop in and escape, and it couldn't land it.
This was over in Risky Reels. Was that a hand cannon hit?
I believe it was.
Are you kidding me?
double hand cannon connects right there to get that a limb. Talk about making some plays with style. Here's Kyle, can't get that engagement to go in his favor. That's Emad with a second limb already this game over at Snobby Shores.
Looking pretty good on his healing single mini, and those slurps are the value of those so good. But the, whoa, Sloss.
He shakes his head like, okay, I'll give you that one. Beautiful play with the impulse, and I love that. A lot of times you see players just leave impulses behind. When you don't have many things in your inventory, sure, pick it up. But the last thing he's expected is an impulse grade to fly on in. Uh-oh, third party now involved.
Yeah, he was going for the push, but shots coming out from the side. Another controller player that we've watched a number of days now. He's trying to track both opponents. Fear of a pinch right here, Courage. What would you do in this situation like this? You know players on both sides.
He's got a rip to go, so it's not like he's in super panic mode. Right now, just trying to see exactly if he gets some free damage onto Rio. Rio has 200 health, now down to, 169. Grab that drum, that nade.
The defensive build. He saw the nade come in, the ramps, kind of to build a layer underneath him that he can elevate himself with and protect from the explosive damage. Now C4 says, I can do that too, gets the shot and drops in. Rio's trying to push for the elimination on Destler. Gets the shots and the drum gun. That blue drum is so powerful up close.
That's Rio's first limb, and look at Sloths. Moving, well, like a sloth. Doesn't just kind of yeet on in there, just waits, waiting, looking, seeing what he can do. And there's the rift to go, getting on out. There he goes. Is Sloth going to use that himself? We'll have to see. He does. He does, as we hear him go ahead and takes that to safety. Look at the impulse.
Spreading his wings, getting the elimination on them. Marsha is
it's an impulse win right
like
there.
You said, you don't see a lot of players use the impulse nades, and I believe that's when Destler pushed in, maybe heard the impulse go off and say, okay, this guy is using something we don't typically see in competitive games. Blind pushing in, trying to get underneath his opponent, and does a great pistol. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Just as lethal as everything else in this man's hand. Blind, showing exactly why people should have his eyes on him.
And right there. When you don't have things to replace the weapon with, that's why you pick up everything you run over, right? Because there he swaps to a gray pistol to get an limb in one of the most stacked lobbies you can have. Every little bit helps, and right there, Blind shows it off perfectly.
The entire play out of Emad's elimination on Kyle there. Now Nick Merckx still in Tilted Towers. I'm not surprised, but there's a reason he's staying here. He basically has the layout memorized. Static and Lavish both moving around still in there, and there is a third party on the hill up top to the south, just kind of waiting and watching. They're still in the safe zone, and Nick doesn't even have to leave yet. He can stay here for yet another circle.
I'm going to tell you something. Nick has no intentions of ever leaving.
Absolutely not. Imagine if he gets kinged here. If Tilted is still in the zone, he's not going to leave that building. It sadly is not. He's going to have to move southeast in a second. Now Tempo, we've watched. Those clingers to drop the structure out from underneath his opponent. Looks like he did build a step away, and the triangle blocks Tempo from the push up top. A good defensive build from Emad. Even though he lost the high ground, Emad still saved himself a little bit. Now Tempo editing himself back down. He's trying to follow his opponent. Emad is trying to build up, and Tempo almost thought he was going to take some fall damage there. Catches himself inside the tree on the way down, and Emad falling down. Both of these players looks like a third party is engaging. Emad's trying to track Tempo, who flies away. Says, I don't want to do this. I know somebody else is shooting. It's time to get out of here. The bounce pad coming in pretty clutch. And there's that third party that Tempo was tracking. Emad might have to deal with the situation now because when the structure came down, the bounce pad disappeared. And there's no get out of jail free card anymore. Emad might have to engage this, especially because there's just over 60 seconds before the zone is going to move. He does have 2 eliminations, which means if he gets Tempo right here, that is a point. Aggressive push, 140 from the shotgun, and gets Tempo. Emad, 3 eliminations, gets himself a point.
You can't ask for much more from attack shotgun right there.
And the chug, the GG emote. Oh my gosh.
Wow, just deciding to add some flair to that one. Barnologist.
Oh, the body shot. Oh, wow, Muffins goes down quick.
110 damage with that purple bolt, showing just how good it is to carry those power weapons.
Barnologist in the feed, who we were just watching, actually goes down to Chris. And right now, only 3 players, Emad, Tylers, and Destler, have 3 eliminations or more. They're all at 3 right now. That's 1 point apiece. Everybody else is at 2 or less. And Destler, actually, one of those players, is already eliminated. 1 point, though, you should still feel really good about that because that could get him into Monday.
There's basically only one way Jair loses this fight, and it's if this hunting rifle can hit a ridiculous shot. His opponent here is you know, his opponent is so weak. So basically, Jair is in a brilliant spot to win this. Just can't let his opponent hit that hunting rifle shot.
Just barely canning up the bounce pad, the push away. The bounce actually pushes him out. He might go for the shot here on the fly. His opponent might potentially want to push up.
He only has 2 AR bullets. That's why he can't. That's why he can't spray with the assault rifle.
Just waiting. He has enough HP here. He can wait. You can see his opponent actually fell all the way down. No fall damage from that. He caught himself with the build. He's going to push down, try and get this elimination before the storm takes out.
This is for a point.
You got to push and get this.
Oh, no way! Oh, no way! A terrible choke in Wheels, then dies to the storm.
That was his 3rd elimination. That's a point for Wheels.
Both of them going for a 3rd elim. Terrible, terrible end there. Here's how Nick Murphs goes down a beam from Ecstatic. My goodness, that's a 1-point difference there. That could be the difference between playing in this grand final tomorrow and not qualifying.
Multiple bounce pads here. Ecstatic looking to get back in as fast again. He still has to move. The zone here at this point relatively slow. He's on the inside of it now, so he shouldn't be too worried. But if somebody catches him while he's rotating, he doesn't know based on what you see in the top left. But he's safe here. He doesn't have to reinforce these builds, so potentially losing materials, but that's a safety play. He wanted to get up top. He didn't want his structure to get knocked down while he was trying to build up. And now he does have to move, but he might be looking for another elimination.
He's looking for this 3rd elim. That's how he's playing this right now.
He's going for the point. Intelligent play here, to be quite honest with you. And he knowing that there's no shield on that opponent, you're going to see an aggressive push here. He does have a drum gun. You're going to see that thing come out in a second. The blue tack's going to be utilized up close. Here we go.
It all. Going for it all. Can he get the elim? Yes, he does.
Kev goes down. That's a point for Ecstatic. We actually could hear some people cheering here at PAX West. If you're here at PAX and you're not watching, I don't know what you're doing. Ecstatic defending himself. He's sitting on top. He's still in that same cube where the campfire is built, which means he's still getting healed from it, and he has a ton of metal around him. He's safe for the most part. Ranger from WBG just inside the zone. You're going to see an aggressive 3rd party here, even though Ranger only has a gray AR at that point.
He's going to gatekeep that. He's going to wait there and make sure it is not an easy run for him to push on in towards that zone. Ecstatic still has his hands full there. Over towards Salty Springs. Grandma's house, as many people call it. Octagon. Saka just staying alive for the moment. Here's Kayun again, low HP. Doesn't matter for him as he just gets that headshot again. The heavy shotgun showing its strength there.
Crispy, Dime, Saka. You have Dime, Saka, and Freak all stacked up on top of each other at this little hunting lodge. This is actually a relatively common drop to push into Salty immediately afterwards, but Blind versus this looks like a Raven skinning. Gets the engagement. Blind hitting the shots and the crit. 52 damage. There's a reason, Courage, the drum gun is used so often.
Yes.
This thing hits for over 50 up close, which means 4 headshots is an elim on a full HP, full shield player. That's so fast and it spits bullets so quickly that if you're accurate, easy elims. Now, Tyler's the only player still alive right now with 4 eliminations. Nobody has 5 yet. The 5 would put him at 2 points, which means there's a number of players. Actually, there's only 2 at 3 or higher right now. Kayun and Tyler's. Everybody else you saw there on the board at 2. And oh no! That's a big oops. Lining the guided up.
Looks like that guided went not where he thought it would go. As he'll go ahead and build around himself and then possibly pop some minis here to get back to 150.
You hate to see that.
He's like, okay.
You see it not in his head. Yeah,
maybe I should drop the guided miss.
Not necessarily. It's actually really uncommonly used in competitive games. I think being able to shoot the rocket out of the air, it only hits for what, 75 damage, even with direct hit. It's best at knocking structures down, but at this point, with a circle, probably not a good call.
Oh, this was Ecstatic.
Is at 4
who was right
here.
Outside. We saw Ranger was going to gatekeep, not make it easy for him to get inside, and that's, well, exactly what he does.
The Portafort possible from Crispy if he gets in a tough spot. You don't see a lot of players carrying that around in competitive plays, Courage, but actually he's getting 3rd party. I wouldn't be surprised if he popped it right now just to build layers between himself and Crunch, who's at the top of that kind of interestingly built structure. It came down to 1 point at the bottom. Jack's teammate Ashton, who we've watched a number of times in Salty, he's at 2 eliminations. 1 more would get him a point, and he does have Sock on the outside here, rotating away. You know he's got to hear him. You can see him right there, the outline pointing towards the direction that he can hear his opponent moving. He's just kind of looking through the wood right now. He's trying to 3rd person look around the corner, see if he can track down his opponent. Crunch has a top down on everybody, though, man. But base holder and blind as well at the top of the hill. That's 3 players with essentially
Crunch.
like an overwatch on everybody.
Crunch is in a beautiful position right now because this is right on the edge of the zone. Ashton, no shields left. One more limb would be enough to get him a point. Hasn't happened yet. Tyler's at 5 now this game. That's 2 points. And maybe some more coming on through as he's using his grenade launcher, and Sloth is just trying to build, but so much structural damage. And whoo, that's what I talk about. You never know if a sniper's watching you. Lucky for him, does dodge that shot as he'll go ahead and edit down. Maybe pick up these grenades. Yep. He actually ran out of explodes, so he'll grab 6 frags to maybe heave those down.
Minute 24, 23, 30 players remaining. You see this in the top right, kind of that wide angle shot. Tyler's taking some tap fires, but he's not necessarily alone in the area. A lot of players on the north, east, the northeast side of the map and the center, but actually the southwest corner only has 1. Little boat here. We've seen Energy General put on some excellent plays in the past, but gets caught off guard. Little boat drops just down in 74 damage from the attack, and that's all she wrote. Now, as I was saying, the southwest edges of this map right now are pretty much empty. A lot of the players are built on the edges of the hill where there's a house at the top. It's going to get dense here in a second.
Tyler's just hanging out. Sees one player pushing forward. First shot accuracy. That's a 25 tag. So get for now. But any bit of damage you can do to chip away from your opponents always helps. So bounce pad on over. It's time to make a move, it appears. As he'll drop on down. No rift spawned over there.
Kriz and Kayun both sitting on 3 eliminations right now, which means a point for each of them, regardless of placement. There's still 16 that have to go down before people start getting even single points from placement. Saka getting Kriz, who I literally just talked about how he got a point. Now he's eliminated from the game. Still a good game, still coming away with just 1 point.
Look at this.
Kriz gets the shot on Ranger. We saw gatekeeping earlier, but then dives the trap.
It's the most happy I've ever seen someone after getting trapped, and it's because that was his 3rd limb right there to earn him the point. So he'll take it. Crunch. Oh, this storm is chunking him 15, right now. 10, He's done for.
5.
He knows it. There he goes. Those late game storms. It's hitting for 5 right now. Next will hit for 7 and then 10.
Hysteria.
Falls victim there. Hysteria.
Hysteria versus Wilbo building on top of each other. A third party getting taps. That again, the top of the hill. Those towers. Yep. They see you. They're taking shots. Jalkai's actually built inside with them. You see him running around underneath. There's 3 parties here, and they might not even realize excuse me, Crispy coming in saying, I'm here too, don't forget.
If Hysteria plays his part well, he could easily get his 3rd limb, maybe a 4th and 5th. He's got by far the most HP. He's got the tools to do this. This is Hysteria's moment to possibly qualify. 3rd night in a row of competing in this late night qualifier and hopes to make it to Monday.
Now Hysteria could hear the shotgun reload from his opponent. You hear the
zone.
shells going in. Wow.
He got the zone too.
He doesn't have to move. He's got a window there. He's going to kind of peek around, see what he can spot. He knows his opponent just reloaded his shotty, so it's full air. Chap goes down in the feed to Tyler's, who've been watching. That's Tyler's 6th elimination. Jalkai's gets Little Boat, who one of the other players that was in there. Crispy's still in there. Jalkai's is still in there. There's so many players stacked around Hysteria right now. And
here's minis being popped. I think Hysteria's thinking, okay, maybe this guy's a little bit weak. Maybe I can make a move happen. I've got near 200 HP. Hysteria peeking. Shotgun doesn't hit quite yet. Challenging the corner. He's caught in the tree. It's a heavy shot from both. Remember, Hysteria has no healing. I'm surprised he's not following this up. He's waiting. I thought he was going to go for that. Instead, I'm wondering if his opponent has minis to use. Hysteria trying to stay alive. Remember, needs 1 more limb for a point. This could be his chance to get on the board to potentially move him towards competition on Monday. Now the 3rd party begins to spray on in. Hysteria building. Hysteria trying to stall. Nothing as of yet. He's got to edit this wall, close this window. There you go. How intense is this right now, Lupo? This is the difference between potentially playing for 1.5 million and not.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about Chap a second ago. I saw it in the feed, but let's take a look at how it actually played out. Tyler's the window peek catches Chap off guard. He's trying to build up to get to the zone and couldn't get a wall to block the shots from Tyler's inside his little box there. A great timing play there. Now, I want to say, I think Hysteria didn't push. You were commenting on it earlier. if Hysteria knew there were two other players there potentially waiting for an engagement to happen and one of them take each other out and just wait to the last second, he knew there were still people alive. You could even hear the shots at the time, but you never know. Hysteria might also have been just like a fear lockup. Now this is the first zone move. Tyler's actually has 7 eliminations. So many high
just got
Elam players
sniped by a heavy sniper. You saw that. I believe it was that Vape Jesus who hit the shot? Here's Tyler's down 7 limbs.
3 points for him, basically guaranteeing a spot on Monday unless everybody else goes absolutely wild for the rest of the games. Yeah, so it catches Sloth pushing up next to him from outside of the storm. Sloth might not even have known Tyler's was inside. That's 8 eliminations. We've only seen one other player, Courage, hit double digits. That was Animal yesterday.
Is this the heavy
shot from Bay Soldier?
Oh, this was the shot.
Blind, you can't sit up top.
Yeah, that was a Bay Soldier with that heavy sniper, the new addition. That does 157 damage to the body, 360 plus damage for the headshot. So basically, yeah, you're not living if that hits you. Hysteria still at 2. At this point, do you think he waits and hopes to just place top 10? Because he's 3 limbs away.
I would. You hear there's another, that guided rocket. That must be OT Divine who had it previously. If he's still alive, drops Tyler's down. Now, compared to the rest of the players that are alive right now, Courage, Tyler's has 8, and the next closest is Hysteria, Rio, and Godvat, who have 2 eliminations apiece. He has more than those 3 added together, and that's the next closest for elimination count that are still alive in this game.
See how he just builds out these huts, spams all those walls. OT Divine moving forward, 12 players left. The next 2 who drop will miss out on points.
Replacing the wall so he has control. The edit. Tyler's getting his 9th elimination. He maybe overheard us earlier saying eliminations do count for tiebreakers.
JP2 drops next, which means we're at our top 10. Every player remaining just earned themselves 1 point.
That's gotta feel good for like Hysteria.
Can he get a second here with another elim? He's only got, 1 more wall he can build. I feel like he's just got to go for this.
The circle is kind of in his favor. If he had more materials, if he can get that elimination, not only is it a point, Horfy is probably the player you heard above him, but he'll get the materials that are left. Horfy actually just got lasered, almost eliminated there. You hear him popping minis.
Hysteria cannot build a single structure again. Tyler's still staying alive.
Didn't take a single point of damage.
Hysteria got the elim on the Rex.
That's 3
now for
That's
Hysteria.
2 points in this game for Hysteria.
So Tyler's already has 9 elims, which means he gets +3, then +1 for the top 10. Horfy trades the elim onto Divine. Tyler's still moving. Could we see the clean sweep of a game for the first time, a full 6-point performance, if he can win this one? He hears so much around him, he doesn't even care.
That goes down the storm. 5 left.
Oh my goodness. Is this the 10th elim? Can he match Animal? Yes, he does.
Bay Soldier. 4. Almost ticked out. 1 more tick to the storm.
He's got
gone.
3 campfires.
If this turns into a play for the against the storm, a med kit?
Jeez. Folks, Tyler's may clean sweep this game. He's going to be near the top amount of HP left in this lobby. 10 elims. You see him waving? He knows. He knows he's on camera right now. He knows we're showing love.
Cheeky smile. Now, 3 campfires, Courage, in competitive plays, gameplay, especially where it comes down to almost a heal off at the end, is crazy powerful. You'll see players put down floors right next to each other, place all the campfires simultaneously, and sit at the junction between the platforms, because then they're taking up multiple squares. They're getting a heal from all.
He just earned another point.
That's 5.
Tyler's now has 5 this game alone, folks. He's so close. Down to the top 2.
The speed of the edit to get through 1v1 situation. This could be 6 points for Tyler's if he gets the shot off.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is so insanely challenging to do. He's got the high ground now. He's popping minis.
He could go for the heal off.
He could absolutely go for a heal off. And look at how low on HP his opponent is, under 70 health.
Well, if Tyler's decides to go for this, go for the 11. It'd be the highest elimination count in any game we've had in the qualifiers. His opponent decides to shoot up from underneath. You see, he's doing it.
Okay,
he's building up the layers.
Ladies and gentlemen, this could be it right here. He's building himself high enough to be able to drop down a bunch of campfires to out-heal this zone.
His opponent knows. He knows that he can't out-heal this, and the expectation might be that he knows that
building more layers. He's trying to catch up to him. Tyler's keeps on going. When is it campfire time? When will he place them all down? He just keeps building up, keeps building more layers. His opponent can't catch him. I think it's time. It's time to place him down. 1, 2,
He's sitting right there.
And look at this. He's going to heal on up. Tyler's
for the first time this week. The 6-point game. There it is. Hands down, the best performance we've seen in a game thus far throughout every heat, throughout every qualifier, and that smile sums it up perfectly. The 6-point performance, absolutely insane stuff.
Jack, I gotta say, day 3 has proven itself to be the craziest thus far.
Absolutely.
And we're not even done yet.
We're not. We have one more game tonight. That was like Tyler saw Tifu's crazy end. It was like, you know what?